Hello, Archie Dunlop here with Talking Astrology with Archie on Wednesday, August the 23rd, 2023. Today is going to be a standalone video. This video is really only going to be about today, August the 23rd, 2023. I'm going to look at the astrology for today, and I'm going to do an I Ching reading for today. Now, reason for that is I wanted to do a separate video on serial killer Lucy Letby, who has just been convicted of murder for killing, I believe, 7 babies, I think in a neonatal ward. And a couple of people have mentioned her in the comments of my YouTube videos, and so I want to look at her chart. But I don't just want to look at her chart. I want to look at the chart of 2 other nurses who have been convicted of killing babies and children. I wanted to look at the charts of Beverly Allett. She's another British nurse. I also wanted to, have an international flavour there, and I wanted to look at an American nurse, and that is Janine Jones. So I'll be doing that in a video that I'm just about to do, and you can see the links, the link at the bottom to that video if you can't find it elsewhere. So anyway, let's look at today's astrology. So today is Wednesday, August the 23rd, 2023. So what is happening? The moon is still in Scorpio. It's 21:17 minutes Scorpio at noon in New York. So that means the moon is out of the Via Combusta. It's past 15 Scorpio. So in some respects, things are going to be a little more stable. We're less likely to run into completely unexpected events that completely throw our plans off track. Yet, the moon does make an opposition aspect to Uranus. You can see that the moon is at 21 Scorpio in New York at noon, and Uranus is at 23 Taurus. So, when you've got moon opposition Uranus, you can actually expect a bit of instability because, Uranus stirs things up, moon is the emotion. They're both in fixed signs, so people have powerful feelings that they kind of hold on to, and these feelings with moon opposition Uranus can just explode, especially as Jupiter is in the picture as well. Jupiter is fairly close to Uranus, the moon is sort of opposition Jupiter, so we got moon opposition Jupiter and Uranus, so that's a little explosive. So we do need to be aware of that. Now, I'm not sure what the main event today is. There are 2 things going on today which are worthy of note. The first thing is the sun is now in Virgo. It's out of Leo. It's still conjunct Regulus. So we have sun in Virgo, conjunct Regulus. Regulus is the royal star, connected with, famous people, celebrities, connections. So, with Sun conjunct Regulus, we do have a chance to meet and connect with important people. What does important mean? It depends on the situation. It may just be someone in authority, your boss, even in a sort of family situation. It could be the person in control. But on the other end of the spectrum, it can be kings, queens, emperors, that kind of thing. Who knows? So, if you want to reach out to important people, there's some important person, some influential person you want to get in touch with, then now might be your chance. But we know with the sun moving into Virgo, it's a really very different energy from Leo. Leo is all about the self. It's all about getting attention. It's all about expressing oneself. Then, you move to Virgo. Virgo is a service sign. Virgo at its best is about doing things for other people. It's about not wanting to be in the limelight. It's kind of, doesn't really need attention. Attention is just pointless as far as Virgo is concerned. What matters is to get on with the job, focus on details. Do a good job, you'll get the attention you deserve. Do a bad job, yeah, you'll also get some attention, but for all the wrong reasons. So with Sun moving into Virgo, it encourages, greater modesty, attention to details, not feeling that we have to be a prima donna. And another thing happening today is that Mercury, the planet of communication, goes stationary retrograde. It comes to a standstill. Now, if you take a heliocentric view of the solar system, you put yourself where the sun is, then of course you don't get retrograde planets. Everything goes round the sun. Mercury goes round the sun. I think it takes 88 days to go round the sun. But from the Earth's point of view, if you look at things from a point of view of the Earth, every now and then Mercury appears to go retrograde. And so with Mercury going retrograde, for over the next 3 weeks or so, we can expect things to perhaps not work out as planned. Messages might get lost. If we have the choice, it's probably not a good time to deliver, important messages. But it's not a big deal. Mercury, does go retrograde quite a lot. But just bear that in mind. So, if you send a message, don't expect it to necessarily reach its destination, at least not as quickly as possible. And, messages can get confused. When we're talking to people with Mercury retrograde, we have to be really careful. We have to make sure that our message is properly understood, because really there is plenty of scope for confusion. So that's the main theme today. I should say that the moment the sun goes into Virgo, and now the sun is in Virgo, it starts to make an opposition with Saturn. You can see it here. Sun in Virgo, Saturn in Pisces. Sun is now making an opposition to Saturn. Now that opposition is not exact for a few days, but I think we're going to start feeling it over the next few days. We're going to feel that it becomes increasingly difficult to get things done in some cases. We might hit sort of obstacles. Yes, we can try to organize things properly. Sun in Virgo wants to make sure that everything's properly organized, because that's the way forward. But in spite of those organizations, that organization, we could find ourselves hitting an apparent brick wall by the middle of the week, late week. So we mustn't get frustrated. We must realize that, in the end, the Sun in Virgo will get past that opposition to Saturn. So whatever that obstacle is, I'm confident that there is a way around it. And, it is I said that yesterday was confusing. I think today is confusing as well. That Mars-Neptune opposition I talked about yesterday, it's still around. There's still scope for, chasing the wrong thing, for chasing fantasies. So, overall today, like yesterday, it's mixed. And, I'm afraid some of us might not actually have a fun day. It could be hard work. It could be confusing. And, we may be disappointed by other people's reactions in general. We may feel a bit let down. But, don't worry. today's going to pass. We'll soon move on to something else. So let me now do my forecasts for the 12 signs for today, which is Wednesday, August the 23rd, 2023. Aries, you want to be free, but you're very aware of the things holding you back. You know you can't fight them, even though you'd like to. Rather, you have to curb your impulses and quietly work away at removing the obstacles. It's a time of year when the rams need to start focusing on health and fitness. Taurus, when you deal with people one-to-one, there might be a few issues. You want one thing, they want something else, and there could be a conflict, but maybe you have to be a little less stubborn. You can get most of the things you want, but not everything. And if you get lucky today, be grateful. Gemini, Mercury, your ruling planet, is coming to a halt. And for the next 3 weeks or so, it will be moving backwards. It's important that your message is crystal clear and there mustn't be any room for misinterpretation. And some of your ideas and your plans for the future may need to be revised. Cancer, there are things you want to do for yourself. It's good, and you certainly shouldn't allow yourself to be messed around by other people. Yet certain individuals are full of themselves, and their influence could be very disruptive. You might want to create some distance, particularly if you're finding it difficult to concentrate. Leo, the Sun, your ruler, moves from Leo to Virgo. It's a time when you need to start shifting your attention. It's not just about who you are and what you can do, but also about what you can afford and what steps you can take to boost your financial security. If you want freedom, you first have to ground yourself. Virgo. The Virgo birthday season has started with the Sun moving into your star sign. You want to start afresh and move forward with new adventures, but also you have to realize that today Mercury is turning retrograde. It may be necessary to go over some old ground to make absolutely sure that you've understood something, and at the same time make absolutely sure that other people have understood you. Libra, you possibly feel slightly annoyed. There are things you want to do, but circumstances have changed and you may not be able to do them. It's a temporary situation and there are other things for you to focus on. Things happening in your private world and perhaps problems that can be addressed without making a song and dance about it. Scorpio, it's a time for meeting people. You know how to behave and you're attracting powerful and influential individuals who could be of real assistance. After all, the Sun, your career ruler, continues to be conjunct the fixed star Regulus, which is of course the royal star. In relationships, partners may be larger than life, and you must have complete respect for their aspirations. Sagittarius, it's a time when you need to be ambitious and not allow minor worries to hold you back. So decide what you want to do, what you want to achieve, and then create a plan. Your preparations will soon pay off, though make some allowances for friends, colleagues and partners. They just won't have your speed. Capricorn, people are acting up. having big demands, often behaving in an unreasonable way. While it may be annoying, it is a temporary situation, and if you concentrate on what is important to you, then everything should turn out fine. You might realize that the world around you is limiting and that you need a change of scene. Aquarius. People are in a state of change, losing their prima donna status and recognizing that the everyday realities can't be ignored. It's a change that should be welcomed, even if it makes life more boring. But if you're working, there is some excitement, and for some reason you might feel a sense of relief. Pisces. Mercury is turning retrograde. In the Pisces solar chart, Mercury has got a lot to do with relationships, and those close to you might have a change of mind. And if they make promises or commitments, you should take it with a pinch of salt. Nonetheless, the Sun's movement into Virgo emphasizes the importance and value of close relationships. So now I'm going to move on to the I Ching. So as usual, I threw 3 coins in the air and I asked the question, what is Wednesday going to be like for visitors to my YouTube channel? Now, the first hexagram I threw was treading. By treading, the I Ching means, or it symbolizes this treading. The I Ching talks a lot about the tiger's tail. We have to tread very carefully, because if we tread on the tiger's tail, we could be in trouble. So whatever we're doing at the moment, I think the situation is quite delicate. We need to tiptoe around it. We shouldn't go storming forward. I think that in the first instance it should be okay. We will have the right level of caution. This is because, the first line is moving. So I think to begin with, it's okay. We understand that it may be a dangerous situation, and, we're going to behave accordingly. But then we go further in, and the third line moves. And, what the Wilhelm translation of the I Ching says about this third line is, a one-eyed man is able to see. A lame man is able to tread. He treads on the tail of the tiger. The tiger bites a man. Misfortune. So what does that mean? Well, yes, if we've got one eye, we can certainly see, but we can't see very well. If we are lame, we can still tread, but we can't tread very well. So there's a danger that we might think that just because we can do something, we're okay. We can plow forward. Just because you can fly a plane in the sense that you've got your pilot's license doesn't necessarily mean that, that you can fly at night in fog. We have to be aware of our shortcomings when dealing with dangerous situations. Just because we can go through the motions doesn't mean we can do it well. It doesn't mean that we can necessarily survive the situation. So we need to be realistic about what we can do. Because there's a danger that some of us are going to attempt a task which is beyond us. Yes, it's a task we can probably complete if everything goes our way, if nothing goes wrong. But, this is a situation where we do have to be really careful. We should probably hold back and not take the risk of treading on the tiger's tail. And this hexagram it moves, and it moves to hexagram number 44, which is coming to meet. And so having gone through this situation of dealing with something quite difficult, we may come across someone who seems completely harmless, coming to meet. This may, in certain cases, relate to relationships in a romantic sense, could relate to business partnerships, just someone. And it seems very easy to get on with this person. Because the I Ching talks about, someone who gives themselves up, gives themselves up slightly too lightly, too easily, and it may be a trap. So if we come across someone who we can get on with really well today, that's a trap. It may not be that they're up to any good. Even if they are harmless, or as a person, this relationship, whether it's with romantics, salesman, business, whatever, this relationship could do us a lot of damage. It's not as easy as it looks. So yeah, and I suppose that goes back to treading on the tiger's tail. It's so easy we forget that there are tiger's tails around the place, and if we tread on the tiger's tail, we could be in trouble. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say for today. Thank you for listening. I've got another video out about Lucy Letby, who's just been convicted of murder, killings 7 babies, I believe. So, okay, not a very nice subject, but people have asked about her horoscope, and I think it would be useful to look at her chart. So look out for the video I'm about to put out on Lucy Letby. Anyway, I will talk to you again tomorrow.